Sober State. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina. And it's the holiday season. We have some holiday breakups that we want to discuss.
In the middle of cuffing season. How rough.
No, this is actually very rare. Apparently, there's a term called sledding or sledging where you hook up with somebody like in the late fall. It's basically they're trying to rebrand cuffing season for
I need us
younger
to stop
people.
this. This is part of a bigger conversation around just renaming absolutely everything. Like I feel like every week I see something where it's just like, and now we're talking about this and this is the new term for that. And I'm like, we don't need to start calling shit different shit. Yeah. I don't need to learn new words. Right. Just like it's cuffing season.
That's right.
Leave it alone.
That's right. Everybody knows it.
God.
So yeah, we've got Barry. How do you say his last name? Keoghan?
Keoghan, I guess. I always said it Keegan, like my name, because I'd heard people pronounce it that way. But then we just saw the funny I'm Delicious Irish guy.
I love him.
Pronounce it Keoghan, and I would trust him.
Yeah. I'm going to say it like he does. Yes. So yeah, Barry Keoghan apparently cheated on Sabrina Carpenter. My take is this holiday season, December's always like kind of a thoughtful month for me as I'm like closing down this year and getting ready to start a new year. And so my take from this is let this be a reminder to not date down.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I don't love that, sometimes the take is like, oh, you're safer with dating somebody. And you're not. You're not.
Because that guy, that TikToker that we were talking about, I think I don't know how you pronounce his name, Garrone, Garrone, no one on TikTok.
I think it's Noon.
Noon?
Yeah.
Oh my God. No one.
Wait.
Well,
wait.
listen.
Wait. Keegan.
Yes.
Same. I definitely read it as no one.
So much. This is what the internet's done to our brains because we're so used to seeing words like smashed up together that like we just like. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think it's Noon.
Oh my God. Wait, 100%.
Cassie, thank you so much for
Oh my God. I feel like such an idiot now.
No, we can be idiots together and I appreciate that so much. Oh my God. That's the way my brain didn't even read that.
No.
As Noon at all.
Nope.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway.
I truly only really know that because there are Noons in my family tree. So it's very possible that we are distant relations. So,
there you go.
Oh my God. Well, that would make having a little bit of a crush on him a little, awkward for you. But he made the point that because what you were just saying is, don't date down or we think it's safer. He made the point that he's like, oh, Irishmen get notions. They go to other places. No one thinks they're hot in their home country. And then other people think they're hot when they go to other countries. But I would argue it's not an Irishman thing. It is a average to mediocre looking man thing where it's just like, if you land a baddie and you land like a hot bitch, instead of just like kissing her feet and thanking your lucky stars that you managed to land this woman, they get notions that they're like, well, I must be the shit then. I must be able to land as many hot women as I want to. And it's like, no.
Good looking.
No. I mean, here's the thing. I like a rat boy. And
he's got rat eyes and then not
does
chin.
He is.
It's weird,
but he's very talented. I will say that he's a very good actor. And I thought he was hot in the Please.
Somebody said the way that he looks like he was put together by a kid with Play-Doh.
I mean,
he does. He's giving Watership Down.
Yeah, there is an uncanny valley element to his face. I will say that.
What?
And regardless of even if you are into like weird guys, Sabrina Carpenter is objectively hot.
Yes.
No
question.
She's just
she's not mid.
Very hot woman and to cheat on her, the audacity. And this is part of a bigger conversation because the hottest women in the world, if you've been cheated on and it's made you feel like you're not shit, please know that like the hottest women in the world, Halle Berry, Beyonce, Uma Thurman, like, so just know.
And cheated on with a person named Brecky.
Yeah.
Brecky.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I hate it.
I do too.
Honestly.
Sorry to any Breckies listening.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know much about her and her situation, but I can't imagine this is going to be good for whatever quote unquote career she wants to have because, you know, it's just not a good look. But yeah, it's just a reminder. I also feel like not only do they feel like shit or feel like the shit for landing a baddie, they want to, because they feel so insecure, because at a glance, the whole world is like, wow, she's dating down or whatever.
Yeah.
There's something in them. There's something that wants to tear down, you know, put them in their place.
Yeah. Right, because they're insecure.
I mean? Yes. Honey. It's the insecurity.
No, nobody feels as though you put her in your place. Okay, honey.
Oh, no.
No one feels this way.
They feel like she dodged a bullet.
That's exactly what we all think.
She asked you so politely not to embarrass her. And
she said please
3 times.
Yep.
So
yeah, this holiday season, you know, if you're thinking cuffing season, you know, just, you know, better off to stay single. Stay ready for the right one, you know, instead of settling.
I think that there is a real epidemic of people getting notions, and it's not just the Irish coming over here with their fancy schmancy accent. It's, I think, just very level 5 men. I think I sent you. It was from a podcast, I think, and it was the girl Queen. What's her name? She's back. And she was this guy with his 4 forehead hairs talking about how he wouldn't date a 5. He was like, absolutely not. Nothing below an 8.
Bro,
I remember that one.
You gotta look, like everybody needs to get real clear-headed about where they stack up.
Yep.
Like for real. I mean, and you can be honest about it. Like you can be like, I'm physically a 5, but my personality knocks me up to an 8.
Yeah.
But you got to know that.
Yep.
For a fact, because a lot of y'all are 5s with 3 personalities.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you don't even deserve a 5 woman, and you know, whatever with the rating scale, but you know what I'm saying? Like, No.
Well, I mean, the internet too, I've said this before and probably on this podcast, has given a lot of people the notion that their opinion is important. And
oh girl.
Oh yeah.
Truly.
That they are important. And I just, maybe because I was raised analog, I have that deep in my soul to the point where I struggle sometimes on platforms like Blue Sky or on Twitter or whatever with 100%. Saying something.
Me too.
Because
Imposter
I'm like,
syndrome.
who cares what I'm saying?
It's why you know. It's why I never got into Twitter in the first place.
Same.
Is because I felt that way. I felt so dumb posting any of my like silly little thoughts because I really did feel that way. And I think part of that is also because I did grow up on like early Facebook and MySpace where we overshared the dumbest shit. And so I also had that feeling of looking back on the things that I would post. And I was like, that is so fucking embarrassing that it made me never want to post anything. With all that said, I am now on Blue Sky.
Yes.
You can follow me at Keegan Winfield, all one word.
Yep. And at CC Mills here. But yeah, it's very much like, notions. I think that's just the perfect phrase for what a lot of people, not just this one random like Irish person, but a lot of people are getting notions. And, you know, as we go into December and we become more thoughtful and get ready for 2025, let's dispel.
Reassess for January, you know, just Figure it out. Figure out exactly where you're at. Be real clear-headed about it. Do some meditating, you know, because it's the notion situation and also just like way too many fucking options. Like you think you have, the internet has made you think that you have an unlimited number of options. You do not.
Nope.
So, you know,
Get
Barry.
real.
Honestly,
I was rooting for him. I was.
Yeah.
I was rooting
And
for
the
him.
older I get, the more I'm kind of like, you know, I truly would be fine by myself.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't need no man with no notions. I don't need no. You know, I'm good.
Yeah. The
Real,
whole
real
like
good.
commune situation.
Oh, that's ideal.
Yeah.
That is truly ideal. You know, and speaking of men having notions, I do want to say this because I feel like it's the opposite for a lot of women. I think women
totally.
completely undervalue
Absolutely.
themselves.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, you are
Truly.
hotter than you think you are.
Yeah.
We
You
need
know.
a notion redistribution system.
Yeah. Got to even that shit
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
lopsided.
have an idea for Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
That involves no men. It involves the house from a movie in which you would like your commune to be. You know, a
practical
la,
magic.
Obviously, practical magic.
100%.
Like, what was the other movie? Somebody just posted, and I was like, it was like, oh, this is the new practical magic. Like, I can't believe we don't talk about this place. But like Beetlejuice house, you know, like what place?
Let me tell you.
Be your
So
escape.
I just watched Beetlejuice for the first time as an adult.
Oh,
That movie is fucking
Bonkers.
hysterical.
Yeah.
I was
it's so
laughing
funny.
so hard. Catherine O'Hara in that
She's
movie.
amazing.
Oh my God. I was giving me such life. And then we watched the sequel, which right after and then juxtaposing, I was like, wow, man, they just really missed the mark on what was so special and so funny about the first movie.
Yeah,
I
I mean-
liked the second one okay,
Yeah.
I didn't hate
but
it. I liked it.
It is definitely not as good
Well, there
or on the
was
same
no
level
way
as
they
the
were going to be
original.
able to recreate the same magic.
No.
You know?
Yeah. I thought the dad had died. I didn't realize that he was a fucking pedophile.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, they shouldn't even drawn him in. Like,
Yeah.
But I thought they handled that
Like-
really cleverly because like they didn't, you know, he was beheaded the entire time. They killed him off right at the beginning.
Right, yeah.
Like we're not even dealing with that shit.
yeah.
Ugh. So the other space was the cottage from The Holiday that what's her name goes to.
Oh, adorbs.
I'm looking right now.
Okay.
Great.
You could get the manor
houses.
house from Pride and Prejudice. That beautiful, the Darcy estate.
Seems like it's cold.
Yeah,
Drafty.
it's definitely
Thank you.
cold.
I was just thinking the
It's
same
definitely
thing.
cold. You'd need a lot of
feels
fires being stoked throughout that place.
Okay. Here we go. 40 famous houses. Amityville Horror. Oh, the new
no.
girl. The
The new girl
loft.
apartment. Actually, for a commune, that would be great if you could have that entire building.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a floor.
Like
Okay.
very lofty.
I'm in it.
Oh, steel magnolias. Oh.
Ugh. It's like a plantation home, isn't it?
You're not wrong. Oh, the 10 things I hate about you house. God, where
I
is
don't
that?
remember it.
It's in
That was
Tacoma.
beautiful.
Bird Box. Ooh, that one's pretty.
That's dark though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have to do the practical magic house.
100%. I think the holiday cottage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got the Brady house, the Brady Bunch house, if you like mid-century modern.
Yeah. Or I like the idea of the new girl lofts.
Yeah, that's in
Different.
yeah, that's true. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. Okay.
It's in LA.
And we're talking about what we want for our commune.
Yeah.
Like we're fuck, marry, killing based on those parameters.
Well, it doesn't have to be a commune, but like your happy place, right? Like, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I know what. Oh,
I know.
this is a little tricky. Okay, I'm going to marry the practical magic house. That is my ideal location. Like it is
It's on the water.
It's on the water. There's a greenhouse. Like
I want that kitchen.
The kitchen is amazing. Like everything about that house is like so beautiful to me. Yeah, it's magic. So I'm going to marry the practical magic house. I'm actually going to fuck the new girl loft.
Yes, exactly right.
Wow. Right. I'm like, it's a little speedy, a little exciting, you know, like it's in the city. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's quirky.
It feels young too. And it feels like
it's fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that really, really good date and good sex that you have when you're like in your 20s, and it's not in it's kind of dingy. It's not perfect. It's a little like,
yes, it is
like this rawness about it.
Yeah. You had a few shots of whiskey and it's like that in a more fun, less kind of seedy way. It is like that scene in Sex and the City where she wakes up and it's like, what's going on when she's in that 20-something's apartment. Yeah. It's a little like that.
I used to be like so obsessed with like wanting to find a group of friends to try to play True American with.
Oh, I'll play that with you. We can do that. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Yeah. But yeah, and I actually do love the cottage in the holiday. I love that cottage. Like I think it is so. If I was trying to live just like a by myself kind of quiet life, that cottage would be absolutely freaking perfect. It seems just like warm and cozy. Yeah. But for the purposes of like marriage and fucking, I got to go with the other two.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on the same boat. That is exactly reasoned out. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing to say here.
I really thought that I was going to be like different. I thought that like I was
you love the
considering
city.
the cottage. I do. And that's why I was like, I was considering the cottage, but it feels so far away from anything. And at least the practical magic house feels like it's at least close to a town.
In the cutest little town. Yeah. Like, honestly, I could totally see myself. I don't want to be as remote as like forever and ever. I don't want to be as remote as that little cottage.
Right.
But I could actually see myself being adjacent to like a little town that has kind of like everything that you need.
Yep. Exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. In my youth, I was attracted to the energy and the vibrancy of a city. I love cities.
But I'm sleepy.
But now I'm just like, I want to be adjacent to the city's amenities, but I don't want to be in it. It's hard.
I love being in it. I'm like literally right in the middle of the city, and I couldn't love it more.
Well, yours is more of a smaller city, though.
It's a city. It's the size of Philadelphia. Yeah. A little larger than Philadelphia. So it's it's a proper city.
Yeah. But that's also like the city size. Like the idea of like doing a New York or an LA.
No, right like downtown LA. I don't want to do that. Like
I wouldn't want to live in downtown LA. But if I lived in New York, I'd want to live in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
I'm a city folk, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Cool. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Sure.
Cool.
Sounds good.
And we're back. Okay, Christina.
All right. So this person says, so I met this girl on a dating app, and after chatting for a while, we decided to meet up at a local bar. Everything seemed pretty normal at first. She was cute, we were getting along, and I thought we were vibing. Then she casually mentioned she was trying out a new diet and might be a little cranky because she was starving.
Oh, God.
No. I didn't think much of it at the time.
No, you should.
Just assume she was joking.
Like actually hangry.
Yeah. Yeah. Me
too. If I'm really hungry. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. So we sat down, ordered drinks, and she starts telling me about her obsession with crystals and astrology. Now, I'm all for light spiritual talk, but this was next level. She was convinced that
I'm like, what's the problem?
Yeah, right, same.
She was convinced that her horoscope was a big deal and that her moon sign had aligned with the stars for the reason why we met. Did she just watch Serendipity?
Oh my God, totally.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever. I'm still rolling with it. But then the weirdness really started. She looked at me dead in the eye and said, I can't eat food that isn't blessed by my spiritual guide.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That is... Girl, you in a cult.
We've crossed over.
Exactly.
We've crossed the line.
This is not fun. Like, oh, I'm a Virgo rising. That means I'm anal retentive. Like, no. This is, yeah. I thought she was joking again, but nope. She was completely serious.
That's her new diet? No wonder she's grumpy. She's so hungry. Like, what if you can't reach your spirit guide?
Exactly. She took out a small crystal from her purse, placed it on the table like it was some kind of ritual. Then she asked the waiter if he had any energy cleansed food.
What? Okay, this is in Los Angeles, 100%, right?
What?
It can only be in LA.
Hell.
He's like, ma'am, this is an Olive Garden.
Right? Yes, exactly.
He's like, actually, all of our food is spiritually cleansed. That's what I would say.
I mean, yeah. Did she go to the Gratitude Cafe? Because that's the only place where they might have done this for her.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Obviously, the waiter had no idea what that meant, so she just stared at him until he walked away.
God, we don't pay serving people enough.
No. At this point, I was just trying to smile and get through the night, thinking it could not get worse, but it did. She pulled out a piece of paper from her bag and showed me a list of approved foods based on her astrological sign and the phases of the moon.
Okay, I am curious to see mine though. So if anybody wants to do that for me, I will not be adhering to it, but I am very curious as to what I'm saying.
I do want to know.
Right?
I do want to know.
I want to know if the stars have aligned at the moment of my birth to make me hate bananas. I need to know.
It is. And wet bread.
And wet bread. Yes. Yeah. She asked the waiter if they had any Mercury retrograde safe dishes.
What are you talking about? Like look, we very clearly love astrology. We talk about it on this podcast almost every single week. A line has been crossed here. And if this is how you want to live your life,
put it in your bio. Like, I am extremely spiritual and super into astrology.
We'll only go to dates that provide.
Look, I actually am surprised that this person would go on a date with just somebody. Well, I guess it's her moon sign told her to go on this date.
Moon sign says so.
You should just meet people through your local astrology club if you're this into it, right?
Yeah.
It's giving cult. It's giving mother god.
Yeah.
So much.
It's so intense.
Or that cult that Keegan found on TikTok.
Oh, the Aquarius cult?
Yes.
Yeah. Go to our Facebook page and find that post if you want to see that TikTok.
I'm sitting there thinking, is this real life? But I'm not trying to be rude, so I just nodded along like, sure, whatever works for you. Then came the kicker. She suddenly said, oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm a vegan. Not just any vegan. I'm a spiritual vegan. I had no idea what that means.
No one does.
But she said it like it was a serious thing. So when the food came, she spent about 10 minutes looking at it, touching it with her hands while the waiter and I exchanged uncomfortable glances, and then proceeded to pick up a fork, make some weird chants under her breath, and then declined to eat it because the energy just didn't feel right.
This feels like a very complicated eating disorder. I'm going to be so honest.
Yes, this does. Ooh. She literally asked for the manager and demanded that they clear the negative energy from the dish and the kitchen.
Christina, you've been a manager at a restaurant.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I would be like, okay, and then turn around and walk off. What are you going to engage with that with? That is so you can't. There's nothing to do. I'd just be like, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, we'll remake it. I'll make sure it's a happy, you know what I mean? We'll put trying to get into a detailed conversation.
Yes, exactly. I'll make sure the chef is happy when he's cooking it.
Yep.
No tears here.
Yep. Yes, and with that kind of craziness.
You just take it, put it back under the heat lamp for a few minutes and bring it back out.
And just be like, yeah,
I blessed it.
Yeah.
Here you go.
It's so happy now. Happy broccoli.
Play some Enya in the back.
Happy broccoli. Just I don't know, if this is your thing, you've got to vet a restaurant before you go. Why would you? Or just be like, I don't eat out.
Yeah.
I only eat my spiritually blessed food in my home.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. This is giving. Have you guys seen that new trend, fridge scaping?
Yeah. No,
I
thank
hate
you.
it.
People are too bored. People
hate it.
are too bored.
Honestly.
Like they've got
life.
too much time on their hands. Like for what?
Dude, part of me though, I was just like, that is very aesthetically pleasing.
It is. Yes, it is. And like I did see a post where a woman was saying that her husband was making fun of it and like making fun of her. I don't like that.
Right.
Right?
No.
Like it's not hurting anyone to do it. I'm just I feel it's so unnecessary.
Yeah, it truly is. That's where we're at right now. Woof. Okay. To top it off, right after all this happened, she leaned in to whisper something and said, I think you're the one. But before we go any further, can I ask you about your past lives?
No. You tell me, actually. You tell me about my past lives. I don't know.
I'm just sitting there sipping my drink thinking, am I on a hidden camera show or something? I tried to keep the conversation going, but by that point, my brain had completely checked out. The night ended with her saying, we should go stargazing soon and see if the cosmos approves of our connection. I was like,
I don't approve of our connection. So
yeah, sure.
Does she have a constellation of stars on her freckles?
Cassiopeia.
Does she have a dead person that's turned blue in her fucking apartment and like 5 other people in the cult? Oh my God. Colloidal silver. Seriously.
Woof.
And I said, yeah, sure. And promptly made up some excuse to leave. So yeah, worst date hands down. Never talked to her again, but I still remember the spiritual vegan part to this day.
The way I'm going to Google spiritual veganism
I need
after
to
this,
know.
because I do need to know. Like, is this something that people do?
Yeah.
I would be so hungry.
I'm looking it up right now. I wonder if it's more restrictive or if it's like, you can eat fish because they don't have souls, like something like that.
Oh, no. I hate that.
Okay, spiritual vegan. Vegan spirituality is a way of life that combines compassion for all living beings with vegan ethics. It's based on the idea that nonviolence, world peace, and ending the suffering of animals are important spiritual goals.
Okay, it's a lot of Buddhists do that.
Yeah,
so that's fine.
Practicing meditative eating as a way to express connection to the universe.
Okay, but that's not what she was doing.
No.
That's not what she was doing.
No,
okay.
she was specifically asking for Mercury in retrograde, like safe foods,
dishes.
So,
I think she made all this up. I think this diet she's on is just like self-imposed bullshit. Like,
listen, and
bonkers.
That's the thing is that like we talk about astrology and stuff like that all the time, and I just like it's fun, whatever. Like, it doesn't hurt anybody, and neither does her stuff. Like, whatever, believe what you want, but it is kind of hard. I kind of equate that as if I was going to go out on a date with somebody that's like mega religious. You know what I mean? It would feel the same thing.
It wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work because it's like
when you're putting, as somebody who has self-imposed dietary restrictions, like when you are putting that shit on everyone around you and like the staff in particular, when you're making that, like, that not, it's fine for you to believe whatever you believe in, but you have to know that not everybody, this isn't like a majority held belief. You're not going to find Mercury retrograde safe dishes. Stop bothering the manager of this restaurant. He has or she has better things to be doing. Like,
I would totally.
Why get a grip? I think it's the cluelessness.
I don't know how I would
keep
my face. I couldn't keep my face. This is why I couldn't be a manager of a restaurant, because my face would have me in.
I really hope she's not in
trouble.
LA. I hope she's like in the middle of like Iowa or something.
Oh
asking
my God.
These questions.
They wouldn't even know what. What?
Oh, it's amazing. Okay. My first ever date, I was 16 and had met this guy in a club who was gorgeous. What club are you in at 16? Anyway.
We had underage clubs.
Yeah, we did too.
I never went to underage
of course
clubs.
we did, Christina. We grew up in the same town.
Exactly. And we're probably thinking, what was that one that was called like Banana something?
Oh my God, yes.
At 16?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because we had 18 and up clubs, so I was in those.
We had 16 up clubs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something banana. That's going to drive me
bananas.
bananas.
Oh shit. Fuck.
It was like it was by the Continental.
Yes.
I wonder if they still have those, like 16 and up clubs.
Fuck, what the fuck was that place called?
They should, because
keep people off TikTok.
Keep people off social media and get them social skills.
Yeah, that's true.
Up and running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was 16 and had met this guy in a club who was gorgeous. We arranged a date and went to the cinema to see Cool Runnings.
Oh my God.
Cool Runnings is a good movie.
Hell yeah, John Candy. Come on.
After chatting for a bit, I realized he was really dull and just not my cup of tea. Anyway, after the film, he took me to his house briefly because it was just around the corner from the cinema and left me in the living room with his very creepy dad while he went to the toilet. Ooh. The room was covered in crosses all over the walls. It was very dark, and the dad started talking about how the Lord would save me and asked if I'd found Jesus.
Oh, man. From one religion to the next, man. Woof.
My date came back and walked me to the bus stop. The next day, he called me, and I said, I'm really sorry. I don't think we have much in common. And he said, was it because of my dad? I said no. I felt really sorry for him, to be honest. Isn't that so sad? This poor baby. He's like 16 or 17 and he knows his dad's a weirdo.
Oh, dang.
He was probably like, I just need to go pee really fast. Like, I'm not going to leave her alone for very long.
He's probably like holding it forever, like just hoping he could get.
Oh, I feel so bad.
Brutal.
Poor baby.
It's a very spiritual, heavy episode we have.
I know.
Yeah. Well, mine is a story from a holiday. Yes, it's a holiday story, and it doesn't necessarily specifically involve a date, but it's very funny. I work for a small bar/restaurant with pretty cool people. It was family run, very low propensity for shenanigans or shit. We had our holiday party in a similar friendly operation across the street. It goes pretty good. All of us and our plus ones, mom and dad, are talking about how happy they are to have us. We get food and booze of good quality. There's a great jazz band, a slightly long in the tooth burlesque dancer.
Yay!
Oh my gosh. So what a great funny description.
Honestly, I love it.
I love it.
Girl, live your dream.
Yes. Oh God.
I'm going to be a later in life burlesque dancer. That sounds awesome.
Long in the tooth burlesque dancer. And it's a good time.
I love it.
The guy who brought me into the operation is a boyish, 40-ish-year-old bartender who had recently taken the 30-day cure after getting DTs while trying to dry himself out. He's totally clean after that.
Wait, what are DTs?
It's like it's going through
detox.
Withdrawal from
okay.
alcohol. Yeah.
Got it.
Delirium tremors.
It's like when you have the tremors.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah. He's totally clean after that. His date that night was a very good looking girl, about 25, in a killer dress. None of us knew her.
Is this Tom Schwartz?
That's true.
Like, right? I just didn't feel like
that.
Yeah,
Dude, it's giving the guy. So when I was in my early 20s, right before I joined Shadow, so I would have been 19, 20. And this was right after 9/11. And oof. I was working at Damon's, a place for ribs. A place for ribs. On the one that was on Olentangy River Road.
Old and tangy.
And there was a guy named, and you'll have to bleep this out, Thomas, I apologize. And he was a 40-year-old bartender who would always come back. And it was like this flop house we were all living in. There were like 7 of us that were living in this one house that this chick had inherited from her grandparents.
Of course. Oh my God.
Sounds like a sitcom. This sounds like a sitcom.
Fucking Columbus, Ohio, if I ever heard it.
I know. So I was like just slinging ribs, making my money, not sure what. I had just dropped out of college and would come home and he would always put on The Big Lebowski anytime he was fucked up, which meant every single night we were watching The Big Lebowski.
No.
We watched it like 200 times. He would just get ripped off of his face and put on The Big Lebowski. And he was like 40.
And you guys were doing
and the
your
rest of
makeup
us
to
were
go to
19, 20 years
unattractive.
old. And he was like 40 years old living in one of the side rooms. Oh my God.
What was up with that too? Because he was a nice guy, so I don't want to like drag him on this podcast, but my ex-boyfriend moved into an apartment, like his first place when he left his parents' house when he was like 18 and I was 19, and his roommate was like a 40
Amazing.
something, and we all hung out over there like it was just like normal for this
he
guy
could have been your dad
in his 40s to just be like kicking it.
But he's a
with
cool
us.
dad, Christina.
Yeah, because
he's
we
a
all
cool dad.
drank together and like hung out. We had parties over there. Like it was like no big deal.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, you guys.
What's that?
The random 40-year-old.
So
What? The
So
random
me-
40-year-old. We all have one. Canon event.
Okay, so my 40-year-old is definitely gonna wait. You're gonna have to definitely bleep this out because it was cousin, and we used to go to his house, and he used to like give us. He was like so fucking old too, and we were like just go over to his house, and he'd give us like cocaine and shit. Fucking party with this 40-year-old.
Criminal. What?
God, it's
in
criminal.
the
Yeah.
world.
What have we just uncovered? But it's so true.
Yeah.
Every
It is.
early 20s hangout you had a random 40-year-old.
Yeah.
It's so fucking true. Also, by the way, Cabana Club. Chris nailed it immediately.
There you go.
Oh, you were
That's
saying
why I was
banana.
saying banana.
Yes,
Cabana. That's right.
There you go.
Cabana Club. God, I remember that place vividly.
Two.
Yeah.
Wowzas.
So anyway, none of us know her. He ghosts after a while. So he's not drinking anymore. She's probably drinking. He's like, I'm not into this anymore. Just ghosts. I don't think he was very comfortable partying while sober.
Well, yeah.
She gets hammered. We all notice, confirm with the hostess, aka the owner and bartender, that she's cut off and starts getting her water.
Have to be honest. I have never been cut off at a bar before.
Me
like
either.
No.
How? And I've been
Never.
drunk at a bar before, and I'm like, how fucked up and annoying do you have to be?
It's the annoying. You can
It's
be
the annoying.
fucked up at a bar and have no problem. It's when
But
you
if you're
get
fucked
annoying,
up and you put your head down on the bar, you
And
get
you're
You're really
sleepy on the bar.
loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Sleepy would be better than like if you're because
wilding out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Oh, well, she was wiling out. She's pretty sloppy, slurring, and wobbly. After a little while, we notice that she's disappeared, and the bathroom is locked. After 5 minutes more, we start knocking. There's no response, but it's inarticulate, and we can't get her to open the door. Then she goes quiet, and we start quietly freaking out.
Yeah.
We're talking to the owner. Is there a trick to the door, a spare key? Have you had to deal with this before? Never. How would you feel about me kicking in the door to get her?
Oh, no.
Well,
also
it's looking more necessary as time goes by. The lights are on and the music turned way down at this point. I'm not usually the best problem solver compared to the rest of the crowd, but we'd all been drinking. The door guy, I never noticed that until this telling, helpfully points out that kicking the door won't do anything because it opens out. Oh,
yeah, that's true.
And a butter knife.
Oh no, you gotta
Being
take
an
the
older-
fucking
know how
shit
pissed I
off
would
the
be.
hinges.
No, it just pulls the pins out of the hinges.
But I'm just saying, like, if you
It's easy to put
bring
back.
the obnoxious person to the
He's
party,
like, I'm out.
you have to stay and take care of the obnoxious person at the party.
That's right.
You can't put that person on everybody else. That is rude.
So they
Really
get the door
rude.
open. Homegirl is passed out, completely prone, flat on her face. Oh God, in a
on a
bathroom.
bathroom.
Oh, ew.
But otherwise looks fine. I think she'd puked, but mostly cleaned everything up.
Oh,
Music comes back on, lights dim, and a bit after the girls get her woken up, she starts talking again. She's very embarrassed and crying, but is semi-coherent and
Yeah.
responsive. Whew, okay, crisis averted. Pretty soon, a bunch of us are out smoking on the street. I see the manager's wife making out with a drunk girl.
Stop it.
Oh my God.
That took a turn I was not expecting.
Wow.
That's uncomfortable because I'm guessing at least one of them is not very sure what's going on and tastes of puke.
That's what I was about to say. She threw up. You guys, ew.
Oh my God.
I know.
No
Pretty
advances on the drunk girl, please.
The manager's wife.
Ew.
Pretty soon after we're all leaving, drunk girl drapes herself across the manager. Everyone is scattering, and he is definitely the most with it. Tending to the sauced spouse and drunk girl, I hear later that they went back to their apartment, hung out until dawn for hours, probably a bit speedy, and had a threesome. They hooked up with the drunk girl a couple more times after that. So yeah, that happened.
Wow, dude, fucking restaurant holiday parties. If you're not ready, you're not ready.
You're not ready.
You cannot party with restaurant folks. I promise you. Like the way that I would not be able to hold my own at a restaurant party these days. I just couldn't.
Oh no.
It's true.
Yeah. You have to, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You need to incorporate some water into there. You have to have a buddy system.
Yeah,
restaurant parties go fucking
that's
hard.
why the early seasons of Vanderpump Rules was so good, which R.I.P. Vanderpump Rules. But that's why the early seasons were so good is because restaurants are weirdly like the horniest places you've ever been in your whole fucking life.
Yeah.
Like restaurant
it's like a
people.
cesspool.
It is so like incestuous the way that like everybody hooks up with everyone.
Second only to a community theater.
True.
I was just gonna say, I swear to God, I was just gonna say.
But there's more
theater
free drinking at the restaurant.
Correct.
Because it's just like people are always, I don't care where you are, people are I worked at an Applebee's in Utah and people were taking shots in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So like,
Yep.
Just wow.
Wow. Oh my God. Bringing back memories.
The good old days.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Cause I got to experience both like incestual environments, the restaurant and the community theater. And I'll say the restaurants are more fun. Community theater, incestuous stuff.
It's drama.
It's the same as like the Wicked press tour.
Yes. I was going to bring that up. That is why they're so emotional. Yes, because
holding
like
space.
Her holding her finger like that is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I was like,
it's
why
bonkers.
Is she holding one finger?
Dude, theater people are so weird. And I can say that because I used to be one.
And same.
I am a weirdo, and we do weird shit like that.
No, you have to.
You have to.
Like if you've never done a community theater production and felt like and like invaded an IHOP at 2 a.m, like oh my God, have you lived?
Truly,
yeah, truly. Yeah, no, if it's true, TJ's is what it was for us.
Ours was actually
the Country Palace,
Steak and Shake.
Oh my
man.
God. Oh, Lord. All right, guys, want to take 5 and want to do the Tainted Love?
Sounds good. And we're back.
You guys,
Christina.
I'm very, very stoked to tell you a story of a woman that I have never heard of. I was blessed to come upon a 2-minute TikTok feed of a brief synopsis of her life. And I was like, I need to know more. So I'm going to tell you guys about Peggy Hopkins Joyce, the jazz age gold digger who redefined extravagance.
Yes, girl.
Yes. So this woman is pretty much, there's the rumor that this is where the term gold digger comes from, or at least it became popular during the height of her fame.
That's quite a flex, I have to say. Yeah.
She was born Emma Marguerite Upton in 1893 in Berkeley, Virginia, which would later become like part of Norfolk.
Bring back just deciding to change your name. You know, like so many people were just
God,
like,
I wish.
Nah, you know, I don't want to do that.
My name's Peggy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. She rose from being the daughter of a barber to become one of the most notorious trophy wives of the Roaring 20s. So she her early years weren't exactly glamorous, and the only stuff that we really know about her early years are from her own memoir, so you take with a grain of salt. But one of the most important things about her childhood is that she is the child of divorce. Like, her mom left, and it was just her and her dad for a while until her dad remarried, which is very uncommon for the time. But so she also, didn't come from wealth or money and that kind of thing. And it's not like there was the internet. So wherever this idea came in her head, this need for money, wealth, celebrity, that kind of thing is really difficult to ascertain, because like, where would she have seen it? But she was just like a wild, free spirit.
Maybe it was her past life.
Yeah. Maybe it was. And the moon aligned, and that's what it was. So as young as 15, she's like, okay, I'm out of here. She leaves home with a vaudeville bicyclist. She's like,
Pardon me.
Yes, at 15.
I have
vaudeville bicyclist?
Yeah.
I know bikes were probably pretty new.
Bikes. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, woo, look at him ride that bike.
It's not even like a unicycle.
It's like one of those ones with the big ass fucking wheel.
You just go and you watch him ride it from one side of the stage to the other and back.
People like,
wow.
Yeah, so she's like, we're doing this. And while the two were en route to Denver, Colorado via train, so like, she's like, I'm with you. She meets millionaire Everett Archer Jr. She dumps the biker. Yeah.
I would too.
Okay, do we know her birthday? Because I kind of do want to know her sign, because the way that I would feel too guilty to leave the person I was like, God dang it, I'm with this dummy and I can't.
No guilt whatsoever. She is giving like Leo vibes, like big Leo vibes. But we'll check after this. I do not have her
with like a Capricorn rising.
Oh, merciless.
Yeah,
merciless.
She's gonna make that money one way or another.
Yeah. So she dumps the biker, and in 1910, she ends up marrying Archer. So Archer ends up having the marriage annulled after 6 months when he discovers that she was underage. So he had no idea. He knew that she was like younger, but she didn't know that she was under 18. But Joyce Peggy later claims she divorced him because the life of a millionaire's wife was not at all what I thought it would be, and I was bored to death. She thought he was a millionaire. He actually wasn't. And the marriage fell apart in just 3 months after a series of dramatic confrontations, including one where Everett allegedly caught Peggy in bed with someone else.
Oof.
Using the settlement money she received from him, she actually attended the private Chevy Chase School for Girls in Washington, D.C., and that's where she meets Sherburne Hopkins.
Sherburne?
Yep, Sherburne Hopkins. Right. He was old money here in the States. His family was really involved in D.C. They traced their roots back to the Mayflower, like very fancy, very old money, and he brings Peggy around. So
his mom was probably like,
oh, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Hopkins was a lawyer and son of a prominent wealthy lawyer. They were married on September 1st of 1913. So like when they got married, like all she was expected to be was a beautiful trophy wife. Wear beautiful clothes, go to the galas, go to the fundraisers, go to dinners. That was her job. Be pretty and go to dinners.
Be pretty and go to dinner sounds like my ideal job description.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Hopkins is the family that I'm blood related to.
Yeah, traced back to the Mayflower. Yeah. Well, there you go.
I don't have that money.
Yeah. What is also weird about this time, when you look back at her memoir, she does mention this finishing school, but there's a period of time after her separation from Everett and before she goes to this finishing school and meets Sherburne, where she does not admit to this in her memoir, and there's only scant sources, but apparently she was pregnant when she left Everett and ended up having a son. And then a couple months later, someone in the house gave the baby too much cough syrup, which at that time had opium in it.
Oh, no.
So the baby died. So there's not a lot of sources about it, and she herself doesn't talk about it. She just says it was a rough time. And she tells people, or puts in her memoir, that at this time she was at a Southern finishing school before she went to DC. So kind of like at that time, that unwed mother kind of thing was not it. But so she's, in DC, she meets Sherburne. She ends up getting him to marry her in 1913 and immediately sets about like just being flirtatious, which, raises the ire of Sherburne's mother and raises the ire of Sherburne so much that his mother basically moves in with them to like watch her, to babysit her, which
feel
she
necessary.
Rebels against. And she's like, deuces, I'm fucking out of here. She fucking takes as much money, clothes, that kind of thing that she can take, goes to New York. They have a special suite at a hotel that's reserved for the Hopkins family. She fucking posts up there. And she's like, I live here now. And she lives there for like, a few months until they're finally like, ma'am, like the Hopkins family has asked that you like vacate the suite, that kind of thing. But she's been busy on the streets of New York. She's like going into boutiques, making connections, and she meets Ziegler. So
Wow.
She, her big break came when she joined the vaudeville troupe. And by the 1910s, Peggy had moved to New York City, where she became a Ziegfeld girl, performing in lavish productions that showcased her beauty and charisma. And it's here that she discovered her true calling, marrying rich men.
Well, we knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly she has a gift.
So her record of dudes is incredible. And I think to me, she predates or is kind of one of those first like celebrities that's famous just for being famous, like the Kim Kardashian or the Paris Hilton of her time. Like
of her time, yeah.
She wasn't, even though she was part of Ziegfeld Follies, like it was just because she was pretty. She's not a dancer. She's not a singer. She's not talented.
Man,
she can't act.
I'm for like in this case, I'm so for it. I'm like, make the patriarchy work for you, right?
Exactly.
Like, if you're going to, I hate it whenever people judge women like this for being gold diggers or for getting ahead because they're pretty or whatever. It's just
what
like, well,
what other option did she have at that time?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you were blessed with like incredibly good looks, girl, use that shit.
Make
life that work for you.
I wish that I had more of her chutzpah, her like confidence and everything like that in my early 20s, because like when you hear like the adventures that she got to go on and all the things that she got to do coming from a small sleepy town in Virginia, I'm like, dude, fucking get the bag, whatever.
It's really not too late. I really do feel like for me, 2025 is the year of like, I was watching something on YouTube or TikTok or something like that where they were just basically saying all we ever do is we make up in our head what people think about us. And oftentimes we lean into our insecurities when we do that. And we think that they see all of our flaws. And that's all just bullshit. So if you're going to think bullshit anyway, you might as well think that everybody thinks that you're the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like move into the next year being like, everybody thinks I'm the coolest.
Cassie's like,
Cassie's like, I do that already.
I'm like, welcome to my life.
But if you do that, I do feel like if you start shifting your mindset in that way, like it will increase your confidence to the point where you will attract all kinds of things to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, also like, here's something that I wish I had learned sooner. People don't think about you as much as you think they do
at all.
Right.
At all. Truly. No. Yeah. You're so why not live the life that you want to live? Because like truly, like people are doing their own internal shit going on. People aren't thinking about you as much as
go
you
to that
think
yoga
that
class. That shit kept me from going to workout classes and stuff, or even going to the gym because I was like, oh, everyone's looking at me, everybody's judging me.
Cares.
It's like nobody is. They're thinking about everybody looking at them.
Yep, that's right.
Don't worry about it.
So Peggy did not have that holding her back at all. So, her second husband, was a businessman who just indulged her taste for diamonds and furs. But so she's like escaped. She finally like meets her third husband, J. Stanley Joyce.
She's probably like 23.
Yeah, exactly.
A lumber magnate who this would propel her. Like she was always kind of a little bit famous, especially like the idea of her being a single woman in New York City who was married to like a prominent DC family, and her just being Ziegfeld Follies. Like she did her first interview and the tabloids were like, she's cool. Like she's cool, because like people would pearl clutch, like how dare she? But then there's also like this younger generation that would read this and be like, ooh, I dare. Like I want to do that too. So she sold papers and they knew that right away. Well, when she finally follows the show to Chicago, that's where she meets J. Stanley Joyce. And this is what propels her into huge fame, because he was lumber money. He had a ton of money. And she was not like super into him. She very much in her memoir was like, I'd rather be mercenary than miserable, was her quote about this marriage. So she married him for money. In fact, on her wedding night, she locked herself in the bathroom of the couple's hotel room and refused to come out until Joyce wrote her a check for $500,000.
My God.
Okay.
In what? Like 1900s money? Like early 1900s?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
So Peggy's lavish spending habits, she once famously dropped $1 million doll hairs in a single week. And her brazen flirtations with other men caused constant tension. Their fights became legendary.
This is the other part of this, is like when people want to put all of this pressure on like the woman of being like, oh, she's such a whatever, this or that. It's like, these men, what did you think you were getting?
Right.
No.
Like you got
Honey, you
what
knew
you
the first
wanted.
night.
Right.
Yeah.
You were like intrigued by the fact that she was this like sexy, loose, free, fun, body woman. And like, that's what you were attracted to. And then what do you think she's going to turn into, a like little meek housewife as soon as you put the ring on?
No.
Please.
And,
you didn't want that anyway.
Jewelry was her, like, she was like legendary for it. She, he had gotten her like this huge emerald that's worth something like a cool mill or something like that in today's money. And she was like, would have been better if it's a diamond. But I guess emeralds are worth something too. And it's like a legendary emerald. Like she is. And like, I think that what he liked about it was that she was so strong-willed, because they would have fights all the time. And Peggy like once smashed a champagne bottle over his head during an argument.
Passionate.
Yeah. Passion. So finally, he's like, you know what? We never really got to go on a honeymoon. Like, I'll take you to Europe. She's like, yes, let's go to Europe. And so they're like taking the boat over to Europe. She's like dancing with like she never turned down an offer to dance from like another man. She's dancing with all these men. She meets this like really rich Frenchman named Henri, and is like, takes lovers on the boat, like all of it. And what they would do is they would dance all night and then like go back to their rooms. They had separate rooms to sleep in, and they would wake up around cocktail hour and start it all over again. But like, while he was sleeping, she was
fucking
around, doing some stuff. So she had lots of lovers on the boat. So the divorce came within the year. Well, like finally Stanley was like, I've had enough. You stay in Europe. I got to go back to Chicago for some business. And he files for divorce. And she only learns about it when a tabloid reporter like comes up and is like, hey, like, have you, how you feel about your divorce? She's like, what? So she has to go back to America. But one of the best things that she did was she would always grant any interview ever. She would often take them in her negligee, which was see-through, and just fucking talk to reporters. So yeah, she
would have been great on reality TV because like this is a personality disorder, but it's one of the fun ones,
Exactly.
Like right?
It's the fun one to watch. Exactly. So yeah, she basically was hooking up with the multi-millionaire newspaper owner Henri Laitier. So she sues Stanley for divorce back and asks for $10,000 a month in alimony and attorney fees of $100K. Stanley countersued, claiming she had married him only to defraud him of money. He also accused her of having multiple affairs, being a bigamist, and for having driven a United States Army lieutenant to suicide. Which is, oh my God. Yeah. Stanley's lawyer claimed the man had shot himself in a Turkish bath after going broke trying to keep Peggy happy.
Well, that sounds like his problem. I mean, sorry, like, not to be shitty about it, but I'm just like, you can't blame her for that. Like, he could have at any time been like, nah.
Now, the press is just going bananas for this story, eating up the testimony. Like, apparently, Jay Stanley had given Peggy a reported $1.4 million in jewelry, which is how much in today's money?
Jesus.
Oh,
a lot.
$23.2 million.
Wow.
Holy shit. In 1 year.
Yeah, less than a year.
But again, like... whose fault is that?
Yeah.
Like, nobody made you give her that. Like,
yeah.
A gift's a gift.
He bought her a $300,000 home in Miami, furs, cars, other properties. Finally, the divorce is settled, and Peggy is awarded $600,000, which is $10.5 million.
Holy shit.
She was also allowed to keep all the jewelry and was given stock in J. Stanley Joyce's lumber company that allotted her an annuity of $1,500, which is $26,500 monthly for life.
Holy shit.
So
what's it like to be this hot? Do you think?
Truly.
I know. The media later reported that Peggy Joyce had eloped with Henri, but the two never married. She later said she did not marry him because Frenchmen understand women too well. A girl should never marry a man who understands women.
You know?
Okay.
So for the next few years, she remains single, but continues to have numerous affairs with such wealthy men as W. Averell Harriman, Prince Christopher of Greece and Denmark, Hiram Bloomingdale, and Charlie Chaplin, who later based part of his film A Woman of Paris on stories Peggy told him about her previous marriage, and film producer Irving Thalberg. In 1922, Joyce's affair with the attaché of the Chilean legation.
Oh my God.
Sounds very important. Guillermo or William Errázuriz, that one's hard to pronounce, drew media attention as he was the brother of the equally scandalous and possible upcoming Tainted Love story, Blanca Errázuriz, who had recently become famous for shooting her husband.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. The affair began while she was still in a relationship with Henri. So William was married with a child, but Peggy claimed he wanted to marry her. And on May 1st, 1922, like, they had been partying all night. Peggy was partying with Henri and William, pitting them against each other.
It's like a challenger situation.
Yeah. And so they drank until dawn, lots of champagne, just like drinking, that kind of thing. And then finally she's like, I'm going to bed alone. I will see you
Power
tomorrow.
move.
And according to Peggy, William said, for me, there is no tomorrow. And went and shot himself in the hotel room.
My God.
Yeah. So his family is saying it's because he was in financial trouble, but Peggy actually takes this kind of hard. And 3 days after his death, she's hospitalized for accidentally overdosing on sleeping pills. While she was recuperating, she gave an interview to a reporter claiming that she was through with men, and went on to say that she was actually in love with William, but admitted that she, quote unquote, played with him. I dangled him on a string as I did many others. Oh, why did I do it? When asked why numerous men were seemingly fascinated by her, she stated, I don't know why men run after me. I cannot tell you the secret of my fascination. I never meant to ruin their lives. Stop it. Okay. 9 months
and she's
later,
like, have you seen me?
Yeah. Have you seen me? Or 9 days after his death, another attaché of the Chilean legation linked to Peggy, Lieutenant Rivas Munt, attempted suicide, by overdosing on pills. He reportedly became despondent when Peggy spurned his advances and was found clutching a newspaper clipping of the interview in which she declared her love for William.
Okay, I am starting to think maybe she's a witch. Like, maybe she's a witch.
Like a little bit? Like, we need to know her birthday, like immediately. Mm-hmm. Despite her declaration to never marry again, she married husband number 4, Swedish Count Gustav Morner.
I mean, maybe she should be single for a while. You know,
try being single just for a bit.
You don't need the money. You've got like so much money.
I think you're doing okay.
Do you know if I had that much money, I would be never like a weird, eccentric.
Never marry again.
You know, like
Grey Gardens, that shit.
Yes, living in that house in.
Yeah, I'd be living in the Practical Magic house. You know,
exactly.
Joyce told the press that all my other marriages meant nothing. This is the first time I've ever truly been in love.
Meanwhile, all her other husbands are like, hey.
Count told reporters that Peggy actually gave up her career in order to be his wife, which was the stipulation. Like, you know, you are going to be the countess. You cannot be a Ziegfeld Follies girl. And she's like, okay.
Money can't buy you class.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Countess Luann.
A month after their wedding, by the end of July of the same year, Peggy decided to resume her career and left him. Also,
good for her.
It seems to be that she didn't know that he was as financially strapped as she learned.
Oh my God.
That he was.
Well, that's disqualifying.
Deuces. They end up divorcing officially in February of 1926. But so she's like back out there. She's trying to find like a career. She gets wind of Hollywood being a thing. She's like, oh, I haven't been there yet. Like, let me try that. So she tries her hand at acting, starring in the film The Skyrocket in 1926, but critics weren't kind. Her acting skills left much to be desired. But the film does give her another platform to showcase her extravagant lifestyle. While her film career never took off, she still remains a media darling, granting interviews in her negligee and making headlines for her lavish antics.
You know, I love to know that men also have that I can fix her mentality. Yes. You know, that like that women have that like I can fix you mentality. Men have that
white
too.
Knight, dude, they totally want to do that.
Clearly they all think that they're going to be different. They're going to be the one. She's going to change. Yeah.
But that's not why that's what's so fucked up is that's not why they're attracted to her.
Exactly.
They're attracted to her because she's just like strong and free spirited and independent and like fuck this and like not traditional.
You know, we were talking off mic last week about the guy who created his like ultimate ideal AI girlfriend and then she broke up with him.
Yeah.
And it's because it's like the things that you are attracted to in women are not the things that necessarily like you're not compatible with those things.
Right. Exactly. You gotta be super strong. So yeah, and it really lines up too with the jazz age. Like if you think about the jazz age at the time, the 20s were a period of great decadence, extravagance, and like people liked reading about this kind of celebrity, this kind of just insane wealth and, you know, spending $1 million in 1 week. It just really fit into the time. Yeah. But now we're getting like dangerously close to 1929, which is, as we know, the stock market
to crash.
Yeah, things are about to crash.
I hope she invested well. Well, actually.
Yeah.
I hope she has a lot of money in her mattress.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
I mean, she is still just trying to like, she's just dating a lot of different playboys and stuff at the time. And it gets into the early 30s. She begins having an affair with Walter Chrysler, who was married at the time.
This many men seems exhausting to me.
It's a lot.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like no.
So I know her sign, by the way, now, if you are interested.
What? Yes.
Wait, so you guessed Leo, and what did you guess, Keegan?
Oh, I didn't. I said she probably has like a Capricorn rising or something like that.
She's a Gemini.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Yeah. That tracks too. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we got that. Chrysler apparently gave her $2 million in jewelry, including a 134 karat diamond necklace, which cost a reported $500,000. A canary yellow roadster, and a Tipo 8B worth $45,000.
Yeah, I gotta change my life.
Wow.
I gotta change my life because I want people to just give me super expensive shit.
Yeah.
Like, why am I not living that life?
That JFK guy is JFK's grandson's single now, right?
He is. Yeah. I'm eyes on the prize.
Is
he in
JFK's?
New York? Where's he at?
Or RFK's?
Well, it's JFK and Caroline
Grandson.
Kennedy's
Grandson.
Son, yeah.
I did not know that. So yeah, she later had a relationship with British astronomy professor Charles Vivian Jackson.
That feels like a step down for her. A professor?
She would later claim that he was the only man she ever loved.
Well, there you go.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
She's like, I got plenty of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, but by this time, 1930s, even if you do the math, she's getting close to 40. Her star begins to fade. Her spending habits had caught up with her, and her attempts to maintain her luxurious lifestyle without the backing of a wealthy husband becomes increasingly difficult.
When people manage to burn through insane amounts of money, it's always shocking to me. Like,
Me
I'm
too.
like, how? I know you're living like a crazy life, but you could live a very crazy life and still save a bunch of money with as much as you have.
Right.
Like that's, to me, that's
Also,
always
to
wild.
sell that jewelry.
100.
Yes. Yeah, she would later, because there's part, I think I don't know if it's a memoir or something. It's called Hollywood Babylon. Charlie Chaplin speaks about her, and she's like, he thought she was not the brightest, but could understand why
she gets people though. Like you might not be book smart, but you understand people and how they work. Yeah.
But she called her jewelry her stripes or something, basically military, she
earned her stripes.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really kind of funny, and I'm like, she was very upfront about that she married that third husband, the one that she made write her the check for $500,000. Yeah. She's like, I kind of felt bad for a minute, but I'd rather be mercenary than miserable. So what else was she going to do, I guess, to get money? She did what she did. But again, the Depression era hits, and tabloids are really not about her lifestyle. It's very similar to, I think, the celebrity backlash that we're experiencing now.
Yeah.
When wealth inequality is such, seeing people, celebrities especially, living this kind of outlandish life when people are struggling to afford their bills is offensive, disgusting, and awful.
It is.
No MTV cribs these days.
Yeah.
We're not trying to see that shit.
I would... if I never hear about Kim Kardashian again, it's too soon. But on December 3rd, 1945, Joyce marries for the 5th time to a consulting engineer, Anthony Easton. Marriage made headlines when Joyce refused to include the word obey in the marriage vows.
Right.
Good for her.
Although there is no record of a divorce, their union ended sometime before 1953. And then her 6th and final husband, nightclub owner Andrew Meyer, offered her stability in her later years, though it was a far cry from the opulence she once enjoyed, as he was just a bank teller that she met when she went to her bank. He was just a bank teller. But by this time, she was in her 50s. She was not the belle of the ball anymore. Her appearance as somewhat quote unquote declined for the time or whatever. Yeah. And they end up leaving New York and settling in Connecticut. And they remained married until her death of throat cancer in 1957 at the age of 64. Oof. So Peggy Hopkins Joyce wasn't just a socialite. She was a cultural phenomenon. She epitomized jazz age's obsession with wealth, beauty, and scandal, living a life that blurred the line between fact and fiction. Her story remains a fascinating glimpse into an era when fame could be built on diamonds, divorces, and audacity. Peggy didn't just break the mold of what women were supposed to be in the 20s. She shattered it while wearing a tiara. So there you go, guys.
Wow.
When you're going into 2025,
take this energy with you.
Take this energy with you.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're as magnetic as you want to be, as you think you are.
Right.
You know?
That's right. So, yeah, someone that literally just, grew up in a sleepy small town, got to see in the early 1900s, New York, Paris, parts of Europe, California. Like, she was in LA, like, when LA was just starting up and, getting to hobnob with Charlie Chaplin and all these different people. Getting to hobnob with Ziegfeld, with the Ziegfeld Follies. It's just like, and she's not talented. She couldn't sing, dance, act, nothing.
Yeah. I just think she couldn't even ride a bicycle that we know of.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Left with a vaudeville bicyclist.
Okay.
Poor kids unnamed too.
I mean, listen.
Yeah.
No one will know.
Yeah. Well, what are you guys watching this week?
We just started watching The Resident, which is...
Oh, yeah. It's like a medical drama.
Yeah. It's actually really good. We're on like season 2. I think there's like 5 seasons so far. But it's actually really good. Surprisingly.
I've heard good things about it. Yeah. As like a procedural... I was listening to Daily Zeitgeist and they were saying... Somebody who was on was saying that like... procedural shows are underrated because we do all this talking about like prestige TV, but it's like sometimes you just want
like House.
I love a good
you just
procedural.
Want like give me the case is solved within the episode.
Yes,
I still want to check out Matlock.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
I love Kathy
I watched
Bates.
the first episode and I wasn't sold, and I wanted to desperately to be sold.
Right. Yeah.
Because I love her, and maybe I'll give it another try. Maybe it just struck me. I just felt like it was like, oh, good. It's going to be kind of like a mindless procedural, but then they like kind of introduce a family drama that it's like, ugh, I don't really want to follow that extra bit. Like, is that necessary? I don't know.
Okay.
But I might try it again. So we'll see.
Okay.
I have been watching The Penguin. I did start The Penguin.
Okay.
I've seen the first 4 episodes, so I think I'm like halfway through.
Kristen, is her name Kristen Milioti? Is really good in it.
She's so good. Like she is actually so good. And Colin Farrell's very, very good. You do forget that that's him.
He does not look like himself like at all.
Or sound like himself at all. Wow. Like he's got a very Sopranos style voice going on. But it's very well done. I think that all the acting is really good. It's shot beautifully. So if you're into that kind of thing, it's, it is Batman, DC, Gotham, but it's also the mob.
Got it. Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. So if you like mob shows, you'll probably like The Penguin.
Cool.
Yeah.
I watched the Yacht Rock documentary on HBO.
Oh my God. I almost texted Cassie and Chris.
It is so
Is it fun?
Good. It is fucking
be fun.
Good. And what is so interesting is that you find out that the band Toto played on like all these records that you love.
Yeah,
they were like the wrecking crew of their time. Like,
wow.
Which is bananas to me, but like it just gave me a whole new appreciation. Like I've always loved yacht rock. I mean, I really do.
It's just fun.
What's not to like?
Like honestly.
It's so good. It's such a good documentary. I definitely recommend checking it out. And it just gives you a whole new appreciation for like where that music came from, because it has a lot of jazz, soul, R&B roots. These are people that like appreciated that music and blended it with rock. And I think in a way that their musicianship was incredible. I mean, it's Steely Dan and all these other.
Chris loves Steely Dan.
Yeah. So it's really, really good. I definitely recommend checking it out. It was nice. It was good.
It's been on our list for sure. So that is, I'm like literally like, should we watch that as soon as I get off here?
Yeah, it's so good. Oh, did you ever watch the Leonardo doc?
Yes.
The Ken Burns one? Oh,
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it was good. It was really interesting.
I
could have appreciated it being even longer and a little, I thought it was just a little short. And I love what's his name who does mostly the audio.
Ken Burns.
Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name that does his VO, but
yeah. It's very soothing. Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, if you just want to reach out and say hello, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And hey, for Christmas, if you could, share this podcast with a friend, like, rate, review, do all of the things. We would very, very much appreciate it. And we love you so much.
Cheers.